On April 3, 1934, Valerie Jane Morris Goodall was born in London, England. Jane loves animals, even as a child. Jane's dream to live in Africa and watch and read about animals stays with her. Jane's dream to live in Africa and watch and write about wild animals stays with her. Although this is an unusual goal for a girl at the time, Jane's mother encouraged her, saying, "Jane, if you really want something and you work hard, take advantage of opportunities and never give up. You will somehow find a way."
In my youth, I grew up with divorced parents and lived in a household of independent women. I had numbers of pets. They would comfort me during hard times in my life. So did my trees. I would sit in them for hours. My favorite tree was Beach. I would read to her, play in her, or just sit in her. During my childhood, I grew up with a stuffed animal named Judy. She was in honor of the firstborn chicken captivity I had received from my father. I also enjoyed reading books like Dr. and the Tarzan series. I always dreamed of going to Africa to study animals. My dream came true. I was the least likely candidate for the job. I had never even seen a wild chimpanzee before. Looking back, it was almost silly. I was chosen for the job.
Jane manages to impress Leakey with her knowledge of Africa and its wildlife to the extent that he hires her as his assistant. Eventually, Dr. Leakey hires Jane to study chimpanzees in the wild on the shores of Gombe Stream.
Every morning, I would leave camp and follow the same path. I'd climb the same hill and hope. But then one day, it happened. I could see them on the other side of the valley, watching me. Closer and perch in the trees looking down at me. Finally, they came right onto the ground. I knew I had finally been accepted. The first time a mother let her infant come right down to me, I called that chimp Fifi, and our friendship has lasted over 40 years. That takes me completely by surprise. I was walking through the forest, and in the vegetation, I spotted a hunched figure. He had his back to me, and I could see him stripping the leaves off a small twig and busying himself on top of the large termite mound. I could see him pushing a twig into a hole in the ground. I had no idea what he was up to. Then he pulled out the twig and expertly pulled the termites off of his lips. I was mesmerized. I knew what he had just done at the time was considered downright impossible. A mere non-human had just fabricated a cleverly effective tool. I got a letter from the sneaky saying, now we will have to redefine cool, redefine man, or just accept chimpanzee